Good evening, listeners, and welcome to Underdog Hockey Pod, once again with your favorite, Kurt.
This is Tyler.
And Brad.
And today we'll be talking about the trade bait on the market right now in terms of the playoff pushes from a lot of teams out there. As you may know, such junkyards as formerly known as the Ottawa Senators are in the major selling era, and there are a lot of teams waiting like patient sharks, just the opportunity of what they can get off them. Meanwhile, on the other side, you've got teams such as the Blue Jackets, where you've got multiple players that have decided that they don't want to play for a small market anymore, and it actually kind of sucks. So, with that, Columbus having a major playoff hopes in mind, one must wonder what kind of major moves they're going to make, and is there even a possibility that both Ottawa and Columbus could even accommodate each other in that situation? But we're going to just talk about some major trade ideas and where possibilities and who needs what, and we'll take it from there. Boys, what do you think?
Well, based off what you just said, Ottawa, with trading away their first round pick.
Actually, I would stop you for a second.
Oh.
Gotta start off right.
Start off properly.
3, 2, 1. There we go. That's better. Now I can think. Anyway, as you're saying, Brad?
They really cornered themselves and put them in a tough spot this season by trading away the most prized asset in sports in the NHL is the first overall pick, possibly. And they gave it to Colorado to upgrade from Turris to Duchesne last season. So now they're trying to compensate for mismanaging their team and have to blow it up because they can't risk losing their players for nothing. And now they're going to suck this year and for the next 5 years. And their star players aren't going to want to stick around for that, especially in their prime. So they're out the door, and all the NHL is waiting on the top free agents, the top tradable assets to set the market for other players like Simmons and Zuccarello and Nyquist. And also Ryan Dzingel, who also plays for Ottawa in a UFA at the end of the season.
Yeah, I gotta say Ottawa put themselves in the biggest fucking pickle I've ever seen in hockey history.
Last year? No. I think the Oilers, they take the cake on fucking themselves over.
No, but that is just, the Oilers are different in that's just a consistent thing they've done for over a decade of just fucking up. But this was one move that changed the outlook of their franchise, fucked them over in the long run and in the short term.
It's true.
That trade,
if one single move could define a franchise,
that trade
for 10 years, they made it.
Yeah, well, me as an Islanders fan, man, this is getting reminiscent of the Mike Milbury days, let me tell you.
He did like 3 or 4 bad.
No,
this is just one that just is going to last for a lifetime.
When they made that trade last year, they were already struggling. They were down near the bottom of the league last year.
Yeah, they were floundering.
Then they moved an upcoming UFA for a guy who had, along with the first and some other pieces.
Yeah,
and they brought in one player,
one
who had one more year left on his contract than Turris. So they gained one more year. But then this year, in that off season, they crapped the bed. They ended up with the 4th overall pick. They didn't even get the first this year. And then they had Erik Karlsson, their captain, franchise defenseman, their number 1 center, and arguably their top forward, all coming into expiring deals, all on a rebuilding team. All 3, you could tell, probably were not coming back.
Well, with the amount of drama that was there, I mean,
it was just a toxic environment. And then they decided to keep their pick last year and draft Brady Tkachuk at 4th, which is a good pick. He's a great player.
He's turned out well.
But now you've got a team with 3 guys leaving. Your 3 top players all planning to leave. Your goalie is another year older. He's like 38 years old this year. And you don't have your first overall pick.
Who I might actually point out he also wanted to leave.
Who?
Craig Anderson at the beginning of the year.
At one point he did,
Beginning of the year he said, I want to get out. But
he's like, I'm too old for this, guys.
He is. He's it's funny because they never actually talk about his age. And he's always been a pretty solid tendy overall.
Yeah, he's always had a good career. He's like 37 though. So he's at the end of it. But he's always played well.
Yeah.
But for what Croggy was saying was, Back to last year, they knew, before they drafted Tkachuk, there was rumors swirling about them. They traded away Hoffman before the draft, right?
as before. Yeah.
And they knew they were going to be trading Carlson. Like internally, like they knew that there's no way you're patching that up. So they knew they were losing key pieces of their franchise, which for some reason they thought they were going to be a competitive hockey team, and so they would move up the standings and and they wouldn't be a lottery team.
Yeah. So
they knew they were going to rebuild.
They knew they were going to rebuild.
That's the worst part.
They decided to keep last year's pick and somehow thought this year's team
Is going to be better with Kachuk on.
with a worse roster
Yeah.
and more drama in the sense of all these top players being unsigned through the end of this year. Somehow they thought this was going to be a more solid team.
We lost Hoffman. We have Duchesne, Stone, and Dzingel are 3 top forwards on 1 year on UFA status. Our best player in franchise history is out the door. They got some good pieces.
Whoa. Alfredson's the best all time.
Carlson's
No.
better.
He's
not better.
You can do whatever anyway.
And okay, so let me paint you an alternative picture to Ottawa. Let's say Kachuk is playing for Colorado. Whoop-de-doo. That trade is... They drew the line in the sand. That trade is over. It's in the books. This year, they have Stone. They still suck. They would still suck with or without Kachuk. They suck. But they have their first top 4 pick. It's going to be a top 4. So they're going to be dead last. They have Stone to sell. They have Duchesne to sell, and they have Dzingel. They could have 3 or 4 top first round picks for this draft. How much faster would that rebuild be if they had 3 or 4 first round picks on top of having a top 4 pick? That would accelerate the rebuild so much faster.
Well, the reality of
and they'd be in and it would be okay. There would be less than cloud of BS around Ottawa because they just had team rebuilding.
No, you're right.
And they're allowed to suck.
The only way they could have saved face on that trade is if they hold on to Duchesne, but it sounds like it's inevitable that he's moving.
Oh, he's gone.
Next Monday.
He's gone. There's no way. And if Duchesne's gone, why is Stone sticking around?
The thing is, your point is very relevant. Like the reality of it all is, and we've always seen. I guess except the Oilers. Oh, thank you. We're drinking Asahi Dry, very crisp tasting beer.
Yeah. Shout out.
Shout out Asahi, awesome
Japanese beer.
But you have to note though is that like most successful franchises, we're going to ignore the Oilers for a second here, have always been built through the draft. You look at any major franchise, they've always gotten their dynamic players from the first or second round, and they've always come out big. And you develop as a team. But apparently, just Ottawa's completely just killed that.
They can draft well. It's just their ownership is calling the shots.
Oh God,
he's the word. I think above else. Elliot Friedman, I was listening to his podcast the other day, and he was saying, and it's true, and it's probably you thought the same, is like, it doesn't matter what comes out of Melnick's mouth or what happens, people are going to be, oh, it's Melnick. People don't trust him.
No.
Because Melnick's at the helm, people can't get behind the team.
A guy who
they don't trust it.
He stomps his feet and cries that the city doesn't support him, blah, 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 we need to move the franchise. I want funding to move to Ottawa, blah, 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 stuff.
Yeah. And he comes out with remember that grotesque like message to the fans when he's wearing the jersey with like Mark Borecki. Remember that? Borecki, and people were like, why the hell is the owner? No owner does this. Like take such a stance, and then you have a depth defenseman as your spokesperson. I get he's a great guy you want on your team, but
Borkowski?
Borowiecki.
I
think he's from Ottawa, so he's trying to use him as a symbol for the city.
But the rumor was that if Stone doesn't resign, he's going to be the captain.
Borowiecki?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Who else do they have?
Who else?
You
Bobby Ryan?
Bodker or Bobby Ryan? Yeah, no. No, thank you.
Anywho's, let's close the book on Ottawa. Let's move on. But
just a preview. So
yeah,
we're talking trade pieces here. They're obvious sellers. They're down near the bottom of the league. Mark Stone, over a point per game. Matt Duchesne, over a point per game. Dzingel, a really solid second, third line slot.
I like Dzingel.
On a cheap contract, too. He could fetch something pretty big.
Yeah, 1.8 mil. I less than that. Now went down, it's condensed with the season.
Yeah.
A lot of teams could fit him under the cap.
Exactly.
Maybe let's take the boat over to...
okay, well, where's Stone going?
Well, let's kind of just do an overview first and then move back to...
All right, so...
Columbus.
Okay, going to Panarin.
We got Panarin. Bread doesn't want to be there anymore. He's stated there's a very obvious vibe that in just the way he is.
He's shitting his pants right now. So
we're puking his guts out.
Sending our love out to Artemi Panarin wherever he is. Have you heard that?
No, I didn't hear that.
That's what
Storts was talking about. Panarin didn't play tonight.
Oh,
because of illness. And Storts like, yeah, he's actually sick. We're not just sitting him. He's sitting at home shitting his pants. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways.
So in a polar opposite world from Ottawa, Columbus has probably the strongest roster they've had in their history in 20 plus years. I'd say so. They got an elite goalie. They've got a couple top pair defensemen.
I wouldn't call him elite, but he's a good goalie.
He's one.
But you're right. They have the best team they've ever had.
They've got Seth Jones, Ryan Murray,
Dubois got a 20-goal season.
Werenski, Dubois filling in nicely.
Yeah,
Atkinson, 30-goal scorer again.
Yeah.
30 goals, I think he's got.
Panarin, fucking unreal. But they're in a similar situation. They've got 2 expiring contracts. They're actually holding on to a wild card spot right now, just sitting out of the top 3 in the Metro. And
I think
they're possibly going to sell off their top 2 players because they're Russian and they don't want to play in Columbus.
Well, I don't think ethnicity has to, or nationality has to do anything
Columbus
to do with
has
it.
never had any luck with Russian players.
I don't think anyone's had anyway.
Didn't Sergei Fedorov play for Columbus?
He did very briefly.
Remember he played
very briefly.
Remember Nick Sheridev, Nikita Filatov.
Yeah. They drafted with top 5 picks. They kept drafting Russians and they kept walking on them.
Yeah, and they also that's why when the Columbus was really bad in the Yakupov era, they were really worried to get the first overall pick and they'd have to take the Russian because that was after Filatov.
Yeah,
and they're like, we don't want the Russian.
So, what we're looking at with Columbus is a team that is teetering on the precipice of competing for a Stanley Cup. But they also have a starting goalie who is possibly going to walk, and their top scorer is going to walk. And that's pretty much a guarantee.
Columbus is hanging on by a single point.
Problem is how do you, if your elite star goalie wants to leave, how do you replace that? If there's one thing you do...
Well, they have a young goalie, but Bobrovsky's having a subpar season.
Yeah,
the team in front of him that is bailing him out for the first time ever.
Yeah. Korpisalo is their backup, and he's having a decent year.
I don't know if I'd want we count my chickens though with him in the playoffs though to try to take us to the promised land. Though.
Well, yeah, Bobrovsky's never.
Bobrovsky's had horseshit stats
that's why it's holding him back. Is his playoffs is shit. He has above 3 goals against average in the playoffs, sub 900. That's why he has 2 Vezinas, but nobody cares because he can't do it in the playoffs.
He's the Jim Carrey. If anyone remembers that name,
Jim Carrey. I thought you were talking about the other Jim.
Jim Carrey,
the actor comes to mind first, but
the Capitals' old goalie who.
We all remember the goalie.
He won the Vezina Trophy and then just shit the bed in the playoffs. Period. Anyway, next slide.
So yeah, Panarin. Thing with Panarin, he's going to be a $10 million player in free agency. He's going to be he's an incredible player. But Columbus, they have what do they do? They have business side and they have the hockey side. Business side says keep him, go make the playoffs, make some money. Hockey side says trade him the assets because you can't let him walk. And what they're stuck in the middle. They don't know what to do because they, like Kargi said, they're in a playoff spot.
And they're a serious contender in terms of if they get a wild card spot.
Win a home playoff game.
Yeah.
In 20 years, they've never won a home playoff game.
Yeah, I guess when they were beating up on Washington for that first round, I guess it was on Washington, wasn't it?
Right now, they're slated to play Tampa, which is probably going to be a bloodbath, but
and likely a sweep.
But still. But if Jarmo Kekalainen, he has the worst job in hockey right now because he has to deal with this. He is probably losing sleep over it because he's less than 6 days away, and he has to figure out what do I do. There's no right answer.
There is no right answer. It's like, I don't know what do you do. That's a really unique situation when you've got your 2 top players and you're in a playoff position.
The rumor out there is that if he does sell Panarin, he'll take those assets.
And he does have offers on the table, apparently.
Yeah, and obviously anybody would like Panarin on their team. And he would flip those for another rental, possibly.
If they can get,
or preferably somebody with term, because
they got to.
everybody seems to walk from Columbus. So
Yeah.
if you bring in a rental, he'll probably just walk too, and then you give up all those
Something's wrong in
assets.
Columbus.
Columbus is a tough market, man. It's just they get really no
They love-
recognition.
Ohio, they love their hockey. Like Ohio State, like
Yeah.
they have a good hockey base, but for whatever reason, they just can't gain traction on star players.
At Frozen 4, they also hold there too.
They can't do it.
It's not one of the most.
It must really suck in Columbus.
I was
I've
gonna
never
say,
been, but it must really suck.
It's not probably one of the sexiest places to go live.
Well,
Anywho's, let's move down the list.
Yeah, so just going through the trade bay board here. We'll just do a quick rundown because I think we're already 15 minutes into this one.
Wayne Simmons.
Wayne Simmons is sitting at 4.
Buyer beware.
Buyer beware.
Buyer beware.
Also, I feel like Philly's not going to sell him.
If they don't,
I think they're gonna.
they might hold on to their own. I mean, where are
They
they?
won. They've won like 14 out of the
Yeah.
last 15 games or something.
Yeah, but
stupid
they're
like
still
that.
in 11th place. They're still 6 points out.
where does he go though?
Well, he could go
I think
anywhere.
I think a lot of teams would take him.
I think Toronto's been linked to him because he needs his grit. Tampa Bay, Winnipeg.
People
I mean,
people
go
say
down the list.
Winnipeg,
He'd be just
Nashville.
if he went to Tampa Bay,
He'd be a third line right winger. But
he'd
that's
be,
what
he'd
he
be,
is now.
but
apparently.
he'd be dancing though. He'd
like
be
Calgary.
He's played 59 games. He's got 27 points.
yeah.
He's a half a point player. Like that's not that
No,
great anymore.
no, it's not.
He's not. Everybody's saying that he's lost like 3.5 steps. He plays injured all the time. Anywho, next.
Rangers will be selling a few guys. They're in their rebuilds. They're fully dedicated to it. Guys like Kevin Hayes and Matt Zuccarello.
I like Hayes.
Yep.
Zuccarello, he's kind of slowing down a little bit, but he's playing a little better lately. I think I buy on both, but the problem is, those, like we said earlier, these guys aren't getting traded until Duchesne and Stone go.
Does Zuccarello have a playoff build?
No,
He's tiny.
He's a very small guy.
but
That being said,
but this generation might be built for players like him.
Well, you need
it's
speed.
the
We need speed though. But
the physicality still ramps up in playoffs.
It does.
it,
You can't.
But that's why I wouldn't buy high on him. I wouldn't give a first round pick for Zuccarello.
you need speed though to win.
Absolutely.
In this
You
new
need
NHL.
offense, and he can provide offense.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's getting a little older. I think he's 31, so he's still in his prime.
I'd put him on that middle six
Yeah.
of a playoff team.
Yeah.
Maybe move up a second line, third line probably would be really good.
He is feisty.
He'll probably
He's a feisty guy.
he'll probably end up in Tampa Bay.
God,
It always seems to happen.
I don't want to help. And TB is like
Yeah, how many-
That's unfair.
Over under on Rangers Tampa Bay trades this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
deadline.
we should really set that up because just they apparently just love dealing with each other.
yeah, I'll do it. Nyquist, again similar stature to Zuccarello, great speed, but I wouldn't buy high on him because I don't trust him in the playoffs. I don't think he's really had a good playoff year.
Yeah, Detroit's got a few names. They got Jimmy Howard. He's a free agent this
Old
offseason.
man Howard. He said he wanted to stay in Detroit, but it depends if Detroit wants to keep
Forgot
him.
game.
Yeah, he can play. And there's definitely the thing that with goalies though is if your team does not have good goaltending, you're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, like Calgary.
You're not buying at this point in the season if you don't have good goaltending.
Yeah, goalie market's tough. That's why, I'm surprised that Edmonton got anything for Talbot because they have nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, why would I? Because they suddenly just trade a backup for a backup, even though Talbot has a higher ceiling. But nobody else wants a goalie. Like if you're a terrible team sinking in the playoffs, sinking in the standings, why would you acquire a goalie that's gonna help you win? And if you're winning games, you probably already have a good goalie.
I thought that was a smart trade
I thought it was great for
for
Edmonton.
both teams. Yeah. Edmonton, they brought in this 24, 25-year-old prospect,
Actual backup,
actual backup.
and it's Koskinen net, even though it probably shouldn't be.
You're really gonna just play that card, aren't you?
Shots
You-
He
fired.
really shouldn't be. Anywho's,
Apparently they wanted Talbot, and I heard this.
Hart and Talbot have their BFFs, or something like that,
They train together in the off season,
which is great.
so he'd be a good
for
mentor.
Hart. Yeah, they have 4
during the
goalies
year
right
as
now.
well. Yeah,
they're just
Elliott
they
just
don't
came
do
off
them.
IR.
Yeah.
They'll probably. He's got to go somewhere. I'm guessing he'll be in the minors.
He'll get
waived and
I can
nobody
see
will
him
pick him up.
being. Wave pick him up.
Maybe the Canucks will pick him up.
Yeah.
But they're holding on to Mike McKenna too for some reason.
I don't know. They feel bad for him sending him to another team. I don't know why.
Mike McKenna, he was a career AHL goalie, so
Yeah.
No, and three NHL teams have had him this year.
yeah.
I think they're afraid to waive him because they think Canucks will pick him up.
Yeah, big FU.
Whoever they waive, the Canucks will probably take.
Charlie Coyle. Minnesota is like the definition of mediocrity the
Yep.
last few years. They've been mediocre for years.
They always made the playoffs ever since they signed Suter and Parise. But they've done nothing else after that.
Yeah, but that's it. I think
They won one playoff round.
They won one playoff round.
Yeah.
That was against Colorado.
Yes, that's right. I
Years
remember
ago.
that. Yeah, I remember that.
That was a fun series.
That was a really fun series. I was cheering for. That was intense. There's a lot. It was really mixed. Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
100.
The funny thing about Minnesota is the coach guaranteed last week that they'd make playoffs,
and then later that day,
word came out that the GMs had been given permission by the owner to go into a partial rebuild. So
yeah.
Oh, geez.
Who knows what they're gonna do?
And Bruce Boudreau is the best regular season coach
Ever.
Yeah.
but just
What are they at right now in the standings? Let's see here.
they're right there.
They're 60 points. They're in that stagnant West
They're in there.
that doesn't.
Yeah,
They keep.
Thorough Derby.
Yeah.
Bobrovsky, let's go move down the list. Dzingel, I like Dzingel. Dzingel will definitely go. Bobrovsky, he's a tough sell because who wants him? Ferland, problem with Ferland is that Carolina, they're not a playoff picture. So they might hold on to him and try and make the playoffs.
Same issue with Pesci and Hamilton.
Yeah.
They're trying to move. I could see a defenseman move in before Ferland maybe because they want to bring in some.
Do you think they'd finally get
offense.
rid of Falk, or do you think?
Well, they have 4 right-handed shots on the blue line, and they haven't. In which everybody needs a right-handed shot, top 4 defenseman, and they need a top 6 forward. So the fit is there. It's just trying to find a dance partner because they need a top 6 forward. And they don't need a right-handed shot defenseman.
All of their defensemen are on very reasonable deals, so it's about finding a forward with some term with a reasonable deal.
Yeah, they don't want to risk.
That a team's looking to move right now.
But yeah, Dougie Hamilton, he'll go to a museum. And then the list goes on and on. Huberdeau is linked to if Florida goes all in on Panarin because they got to move up some salary because nobody goes to their games, so they can't afford both of them. So Huberdeau has been rumored to be available if they get Panarin once at all, either now or in the off season.
So many talented players in Florida, and
Barkov, what a player!
well, he's had 3-point night again tonight. So
And the list goes on and on and on. Blah blah blah. Anywho's, let's get to the fun part. Who's going where?
Yeah.
oh god,
All right. Let's just go through maybe the top 5 here.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 players.
Yeah.
So Panarin is listed at number 1. Like I said, I don't see him getting traded.
I want to see him get traded just for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
But the really reason I don't think he goes is because I don't think anybody's gonna be able to afford the price,
Yeah, I agree.
and I don't think Jarmo Kekalainen would get away with just getting anything for him. You know what I mean?
he wouldn't sleep well.
Like if
He wouldn't keep his job.
No,
if,
there's that.
if he just straight up said like, "Listen, I gotta get what I can get," that doesn't work. You have to get like a king's ransom if you want to sacrifice your season and the playoffs and all that revenue for a first-round pick and a mediocre
Though,
prospect.
he's a pretty well calculated GM. He's kept the boat
Done a
afloat
good
for a while.
job.
He's done a good job. So you know what? If anybody could probably pull it off, I'm sure he can do it. I think he'll come up with something.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they would trade him right now. I think the risk is way too high. You're right in the doorstep of a playoff spot. Don't get rid of him yet. Like even with Bobrovsky too. Like, what do you really do with a situation like that? Like this is so.
Bobrovsky, I think they'd sell him. I think they'd trade him.
Especially after that one incident where they suspended him.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the nail in the coffin. with their relationship, and I think they would sell him. I just don't think nobody wants him.
That's kind of a
If they could get rid of his salary, they could bring somebody useful in too.
Yeah, because he's not a guy you can just like say, who wants this guy? He's a $7.5 million cap hit.
yeah.
If you can just get that off your books, you can give up some assets. Maybe some that you'd receive in the Bobrovsky trade, but you'd also likely need to add something else because the goalie market's shit. If you trade Bobrovsky and you make them take his whole salary, you're not getting a lot back for him. That's just the facts. So
you might get another backup in return.
Yeah, you'd probably have to take on a goalie
And some salary.
Or if you could hold off on the salary and just get some prospects or picks and flip those for a rental forward to try to give your team some more juice up front.
Yep.
That would probably be the way to go with that. But yeah, I don't see Panarin getting moved.
No.
I just can't. I can't see it.
Is there I think it's too complicated. Duchesne, he's going. They're already sitting him. He's not playing tonight. He's not playing. He's probably to play his last game in the Senators.
Yeah.
He's having a good year. He's got over a point a game.
That backhander goal at midair, man, that was unreal.
Well over a point per game.
He is. Is he a number one center?
Yeah.
I think he's like a 1B center. You know what I mean? Like he's like in the middle.
He's not an elite center. He's not an elite for top player.
No.
But he's a very good second tier forward in the NHL. He's very fast. He's highly skilled. Great hand-eye, as you mentioned, that batting out of the air from like 30 feet out.
And the fact that when top shelf still is unreal.
I'm a fan of Duchesne. I've always been a fan of it. I just always see him. I keep wanting more out of him.
Where does Dutchie go?
You know, I think he'd be a really good fit in Winnipeg, but Winnipeg seems to have their eyes on Stone.
Yeah.
I don't really get that one. Why do they need a scoring winger? Because
Laine's not scoring.
He has gone in a shell. He's gone hiding.
Well, that's another episode.
Yeah, his season's evaporated on him.
Nashville's been rumored to be going hard on him, but like, what are they going to do with that? Where's he going to fit? Because they've got
Turris.
They've got Turris, they've got Johansson, they've got Bonino, all on big long-term deals.
Yeah.
Is he going to play fourth line for you?
I think Duchesne can play left wing. He's played some wing in his career, which he's probably, with the speed, he's probably more dangerous playing wing. But again, if you're in a playoff spot, you probably have a good 1-2 center.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stone, I think he's going to Peg.
Yeah.
They were chanting his name at the last game.
I know. It's interesting because they could definitely use a scoring winger. I more prefer the idea of bringing in a left-handed shot center.
Yeah, or a left-handed shot defenseman. Bump shot.
Yeah.
That Stone guy is a stud, though, man. I tell you.
He's
I don't see where Stone fits.
Great two-way forward. I think he probably fits second line. I think they've got Connor with Scheifele, Wheeler, line 1. That's like their set line. Line 2, when healthy, it's probably Nick Ehlers, Little, and then Stone would slot in there. I think line A would drop down to the third line with...
That's bad PR.
Doesn't matter, man.
Doesn't matter. If you don't perform, what makes you think you're going to be a top 6 player?
Why would you reward him?
Fuck all.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying that's rough on your star player, but it's best for business.
And it would bring his asking price down this offseason.
Yeah, that's what I know. Shovel day off my ownership's like, thank God.
Yeah,
we can maybe give him a bridge on this.
He's sucking hard. No. And I agree with you that another left shot defenseman would be good because after Morrissey, they've got a lot of bottom pair.
My boy Deninoff has more points than Laine.
Most players in the league have more points than Laine.
he has like 25 goals and 6.5 assists.
Yeah, he's pretty ugly right now. He's only got
assists he ever gets on rebounds.
He's got 36 points.
He's great. He just wants to sit the circle, wait for that one team.
Yeah, people just waiting for him to just plug him up and problem solved.
I know he's a really easy guy to check. I think Stone will get moved for sure. Same with Duchesne. I think with Stone, also Boston's in on Stone. I'm not sure if Boston would want to trade DeBrusque, but that's what Ottawa would be asking for. Simmons, I don't know. Simmons will go. I don't think Philadelphia is getting in. Their season was far gone for Hart.
People keep saying Toronto, so I wouldn't be shocked if he ended up there.
Again, Toronto doesn't need another forward.
They don't have.
Well, don't worry, they know, but
they don't have money for him.
They have to shed some salary.
They have to plan to pay out all these bonuses that aren't included in the cap. So they have to leave like $4 million available for bonuses to pay out to Marner and
Dubas is in a crunch of numbers, and he'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out. He's a math guy. But yeah, no. If they bring him in, they have to trade like another $4 million player out.
Zaitsev. We're trying to trade Zaitsev.
Yeah, flip Zaitsev out somehow.
But
then your defense sucks and it gets even worse.
I know, like they can score goals as many as they want, but as we found out, like it's running low on them. They have to learn how to defend.
I'm having a hard time thinking of teams that really need pieces because there's a lot of teams like Vegas, for example, is clarified that they are not taking rentals.
Vegas they've come back down to earth, and it's nice to see because nobody gives a shit about them anymore.
Well, speak for yourself.
No, I'm just, like they're not in the news. They're just another hockey team that's almost floundering because they're not they've kind of secured a playoff spot, but they're not elite anymore. They're in the middle ground.
Well, save their best for the playoffs, you know.
Well, because St. Louis caught up to them. They're ahead of them standings now.
Well, St. Louis, they were underachieving.
Okay, let's go through the buyers. Calgary, they've been in on Stone. Their right wing has been kind of after Lindholm. It's James Neal,
who's been pretty dismal.
Has been trying to suck. San Jose, they have no assets left to give. They're tapped out. They're also they played the Canucks the other night. Top to bottom, they're a handful.
Very strong team.
They're a strong team because Thornton's their third line center.
When they're healthy.
Yeah. When they're healthy, and they have two elite defensemen.
And when the goalie's playing well, because Jones has had a really rough year up until recently. I think his numbers have picked up recently, but
he's pretty good playing subpar for a starter.
St. Louis, nobody's taking them seriously. They might give whoever they're playing their first. I mean, I don't think they're buyers.
I think they bought all summer.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, they signed like the 4 biggest free agents.
That's what I mean. They signed all their big pieces, and I mean, really, they've got to start. If they keep it up, they got to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, Nashville. I don't know where you fit anything that's worth noting in your lineup. They already brought in Brian Boyle,
Cody McLeod. If they really want to suck up that.
I don't know why they did that. That was weird.
They're hoping that they maybe because he was on that team when they went to the finals, so maybe they're hoping that he'll bring that magic back.
But like. They're top 6. Like they have, Forsberg is I am a huge Forsberg fan.
Who isn't?
He is every single goal he scores. It seems to be like highlight reel. I don't know how he does it.
How's Martin Erat doing?
I think he's probably living a pretty good life out in Czech. Dallas, they're a weird team. They're trying to build their team through free agency, and then
they'll probably. I bet you they buy somebody. This deadline.
Dallas? I think we will.
Dallas, yeah.
I think
pick somebody up.
I could see them going in like Nyquist or Zuccarello. Somebody to fill in their second line because who else scores for them besides Sagan or Radulov?
They'll pick up a winger. Maybe even they might be allowing a spot for Simmons. Who knows?
Yeah. On the other side, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a team that they could buy. They could go after Panarin because they could flip any one of their top 6 forwards and send them back to Columbus, which I think Columbus wants. And it would be what an unfair lineup. Panarin, Kucherov, Stamkos, Point in your top 6.
Tampa Bay is just a freak team. Like they've got every single category checked off. Like you can't really. How much more can you improve on a team like that? Like it just absolutely. Kucherov's playing out of this world.
99 points through 60 games.
Like what else do you need?
They're averaging 4 goals a game.
The team, yeah.
It just and then
fully loaded offense.
Vasilevsky's playing good too, so it's just like looks at his own cruise control.
But like with if you're whoever Breezeball is their GM.
Yeah, no, it's Breezeball.
Do you want to mess with that chemistry?
No, not really.
Or you just want to stand pat?
Stand pat and just let the magic work.
You know, the New York Islanders, they're second in the conference, and
boom.
But are they soft buyers, I guess you could say? They might go after Nyquist, like one of the second-tier guys.
I think Luz must be doing some research. He must be eyeing up somebody.
But he also, on the flip side, he's kind of like what
Blue Jackets have. They have Anders Lee, that's a UFA, and same with Nelson.
Yeah, a bunch of their top 6 forwards are free agents who are unsigned.
And they got to worry about that as well as like, adding. But I think they're a soft buyer. Maybe one of the second tier 2-3 guys. Boston is a team that if I'm putting Boston and Toronto in the series, I give them to Boston.
They always have the edge.
They have what it takes to win a playoff series. Toronto, they need a top 4 defenseman. Washington, they have no cap space.
No, that's the story with a lot of these teams. Is if they want to bring anything, they need to either
They have Burakovsky they could sell, but
yeah,
he's having a terrible season.
they need to either ship money out or get the other team to hold a lot of money, which is gonna, it's gonna increase the cost of bringing that player in.
Pittsburgh, they're all in. As soon as only have Crosby and Malkin, they're all in, but they have nothing left. They traded away everything.
They brought Butstad in,
That was
Jared
I think
McCann.
that was their last bullet in the gun. They had nothing left to trade.
which they both basically what they traded for was underachieving centers for underachieving centers.
Yeah,
But they bought underachieving centers with term,
Right.
so they're
and
not going to
McCann,
lose.
I don't know what he is.
I think he's like a fine third liner.
It sounds like it. He's a third line center,
I've
shipping 25 points a season, 30 points.
Yeah, a lot of their games have been on TV in the last couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
I've watched a few of them, and
They're on today.
Yeah, they were on today against who was it?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
Who
it
was
was
it?
who knows? It was one of the central.
Yeah.
teams.
Dirty New Jersey.
Jersey, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're a team that's Rutherford is gonna give them every chance to win the cup he can for the next 2-3 years, while they still have Malkin
Yeah, they're gonna
and
milk the
Crosby
hell out of their
firing
careers.
on full cylinders.
Which they have to.
They have to. I feel bad for those guys for all those years they were in cap hell, and
Yeah.
the GM just sat with the roster that they had.
He couldn't do
And-
anything. He did nothing.
Well, he should have Rutherford it and just traded
Reset.
players for players and
Yeah.
just try to do something to change up the roster. Right? They wasted like 5-6 years of.
Yeah, they were kind of mediocre. Well, that was in the Fleury days when we thought he was all washed up.
And then he went to the finals.
And he went to the finals
Yeah.
with help of Murray. Between 2009 and the 2016 Cup, there was kind of mediocre years.
And Jeff Zatkoff.
Yeah.
And just well, the year that was a tri goaltending tandem.
Yeah.
And Montreal, they're a weird one. They're doing the typical Montreal. They're a stingy team, fast, quick, price is great.
Weber's a cornerstone.
And they have a cornerstone defenseman, but
They brought the Dutch Gretzky back.
and they sent him down the minors today.
They sent him back down.
Yeah,
Okay. He was down originally,
That
and
was
they brought
weird.
him up for a couple games, but
Uh,
and they brought in that Paul Thompson from LA,
yeah.
which was not a bad move. They paid a fourth for him, but they got him and a fifth back.
So they downgraded from a fourth to fifth and added Thompson
And they added a fourth line center that can kill penalties, take draws. It's
to replace Mechanics, who just pieced it
Yeah, just
6 games in. The season.
retired.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I think that about concludes our thoughts on the current trade bait situation. It is very exciting nonetheless, and there's been a lot of good chatter about what we kind of think and what we predict. Do like and subscribe. You can always check us out on Instagram or Twitter. Until next time, my friends, have a good night and keep 6 on the ice.
next week we will review the outcomes of the trade deadline and see what we got right, what we hit on, and what we missed hard on. So let's see how it goes.
Well, most of what Croggy missed on, but we're not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
Adios.
Good night.